Enemy public, I saw your thing on YouTube, man. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. I'm quite sure everyone has heard about the situation with Atatiana Jefferson. October 12th, 2019. Her neighbor was concerned for her because her doors was left open. Before I go further, I want to say peace to my brother, Big Dog Philly OG. October 12th, 2019, Atatiana Jefferson's neighbor was concerned that her door was left open. So he called the police, which is something he shouldn't have done. He should have went over there and checked on his neighbor if he was that concerned. But he called the police, and they sent an overzealous, trigger-happy narcissist over there to check on the sister. Instead of going to the front door or front doors, he went past the front doors, prowling around the sister's yard. And he had his gun out. And the first contact he had with her, he was shooting her in the chest. He said, "Show me your hands." And immediately after he said, "Show me your hands," he shot her. Mind you, he's such a narcissist, sociopath, that he thought that he was defending himself from her when he was in her yard, prowling around her yard. Yeah, he said he feared for his life. And there's no way he's seen a gun in Atatiana Jefferson's hand, because nobody says, "Show me your hands," if they can see your hands. If he's seen a gun, it had to be in her hands. He said, "Show me your hands," not gun. And when he went inside after shooting her, he said, "Looks like we have a gun." Who says it looks like we have a gun if they knew emphatically that it was a gun involved in the situation? He also sent his partner in not knowing that there was a gun in the home. The sister was playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew, Zion, and She heard noise in her yard. So she grabbed her purse and grabbed her pistol and walked over to the window to see who was in her yard. Meanwhile, Aaron Dean of the Fort Worth Police Department was prowling around her yard with his gun out, trying to be a renegade, thinking he was going to find burglars in the sister house. This call could have been cleared within seconds if he had just gone to the front door, knocked or ring the doorbell, and asked, was everything okay there? But he didn't do that. He was prowling around her yard. You know, she had her nephew. The young lady she was taking care of her grandparents, and she had her nephew playing video games with him. So when she went to the window, the first time they seen each other, he was shooting her. He shot her, and he went inside her home, didn't render aid. He let her die. When he went inside her home, he said, it looks like we have a gun. When the prosecutor was cross-examining him, he said he did a fine job where he did absolutely nothing right on that call. He did nothing right. He let her die. You can actually hear her gasping for air, struggling to stay alive. He didn't render any first aid or life-saving procedures on Atatiana Jefferson. None. He let her die because he was going by the motto. And the motto is, a dead witness cannot speak. That's the motto. He murdered her. He went in, didn't render any aid, and he said that he was going to wait until other officers arrived. Meanwhile, he sent his partner into that home not knowing that there was a pistol in that home. He didn't see a pistol at that window. He shot the young sister on contact through her window. He shot her. He didn't see a gun until he went inside that house. That's why he said, it looks like we have a gun. And he was going to use that as an excuse to why he shot her. He resigned. The police department wanted nothing to do with him. The police chief said he was going to fire him anyway because he had other, things on his record that was unbecoming of an officer. Yet, if you check out the cross-examination and you listen to his testimony, his excuses to why he did what he did. Now I'm going to play the shooting. I'm going to play the video of the shooting. I'm going to play 3 videos, and I'm going to play an audio of the prosecution's cross-examination. This guy had absolutely no remorse for what he did. He gave himself a B after failing at everything. He didn't go to the door, ring the doorbell, or knock on the door asking, is everything okay at the home? The call could have been cleared right there. When the prosecution asked him that, he said, if you had gone to the door, Miss Jefferson would probably be still alive. He said, not really. The prosecutor asked, you would have shot her anyway? And he said, she would have came to the door with a gun, I would have shot her. He was going there to do exactly what he did. If you're ringing the doorbell at her front door, why would she come to her door with a gun if you announce yourself as the police? Fort Worth Police Department, is everything okay here? The reason why she had her gun out because you was in her yard, prowling around her yard. That's why she had her gun out at her window, because she wanted to see who was creeping around her house. Now, I want to play this video of the shooting. It's like 1 minute, 59 seconds. And you can actually hear the sister scream after being shot.
Put your hands up. Show me your hands.
He didn't give her a chance to do anything. He said, show me your hands, and shot her immediately after saying it. And if you say, show me your hands, that means the hands can't be seen. But he testified that he seen a gun. I'm just going to play the video. Listen to this bonehead, this cold-blooded bastard murderer.
Last week, we showed you the emotional moment an 11-year-old boy testified about his aunt being shot and killed by a police officer. Today, the cop on trial for murder took the stand and testified that he thought he was firing in self-defense.
This jury needs to hear from me and hear the truth.
The cop on trial for murder describes the harrowing moment he shot a woman dead in her own home.
I'm just looking right down the barrel of a gun. And when I saw the barrel of that gun pointed at me, I fired a single shot from my duty weapon.
38-year-old Officer Aaron Dean testified he was called to a house in Fort Worth to investigate a suspected burglary.
Glass door was shut. The inner door was open. It looked ransacked. It was a mess.
Body cam video shows him moving along the side of the house, spotting a figure in the window with a gun, and firing an instant later.
Put your hands up. Show me your hands.
Dean choked back tears as he spoke about the shooting.
When my vision cleared, then I observed the person that we now know as Miss Jefferson. I heard her scream and saw her fall like this. And I knew that I'd shot that person.
The victim, Atatiana Jefferson, had left her door open to let smoke out after she burned some hamburgers. When she heard noises outside, she fetched her gun. Her 11-year-old nephew, Zion Carr, was in the house and last week testified for the prosecution that she never pointed the weapon at the officer.
Are you sure she didn't have it up at all?
Court TV's Julia Janae.
They are going to have to weigh whether he reasonably feared for his life, whether that moment that he saw that weapon was enough for him to fire.
I did see that weapon pointed at me.
Aaron Dean faces up to life in prison if he's convicted.
He said he seen a gun pointed at him. Then why didn't he yell gun like all other police officers do? Usually they'll yell gun. And not only that, he sent his partner inside the house. If you knew that it was a gun inside the house, why would you send your partner inside the house? And while you're in the yard, prowling around her yard, if there is something going on in the house, you left the door wide open, 2 doors wide open, so the burglars can just run out of the damn door. He did absolutely nothing right when it came to him going on this call, when he could have just cleared it in a matter of seconds and been on his way. But no, he did what he went there for because of the neighborhood he was dispatched to. He thought he was going there to be a renegade and foil a crime when there was no crime being committed. The sister only had her door open because, like the report said, she had a nephew with her and she allowed him to cook the hamburgers and he burnt them. So they opened the doors to air out the home. You know, the smoke detector go off and you open the door. You fan the smoke detector and you open the doors to allow the house to air out. And because he went to the house and the house is not in the order that he thought it should be in, he said it was ransacked. And that's why he thought somebody burglarized the house. But again, he could have cleared the call by just simply going to the door and asking, is everything all right? It wasn't a burglar call. It was an open structure call. You go to the door if it's an open structure call. You don't prowl around the house. It was a welfare check. You go and you check on the welfare of the occupants that's in the home, not go around trying to be a renegade thinking you got a burglary call. It was not a burglary call. And he murdered that sister. He was convicted of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 11 years, 10 months, and 9 days. If they had sentenced him to 10 years, he could have walked away with probation. But even this 11 years is not justice as far as I'm concerned because he murdered her. That's not manslaughter. That's second-degree murder. He should be doing at least 25, 30 years for what he did. Now, I have another video that I want to play of the conviction.
Everyone may be seated. Good afternoon. Mr. Presiding Juror, it is my understanding that the jury has reached a verdict. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. Is it a unanimous verdict? Yes, Your Honor. If you'd hand it, please, Deputy Nicholson. Mr. Dean, if you would stand. Oh, sorry about that. Verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Aaron York Dean, guilty of the offense of manslaughter, as signed by the presiding juror. Does either side desire a poll?
State does not, Your Honor.
You may be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call your juror number, okay? And the question I am going to ask you is this manslaughter verdict your individual verdict? Juror number 1, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 3, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 4, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 6, is this your verdict? Yes, Juror number 14, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 15, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 21, is this your verdict? I'm sorry? Okay. Juror number 31, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 32, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 37, is this your verdict? Juror number 38, is this your verdict? Yes, Your Honor. All right, your verdict will be received and filed, and I'm going to ask you to step back into the jury room for a few minutes. We are now back under the rules that we were under. Don't discuss the case amongst yourselves because we will go into the punishment phase. I need to discuss with the lawyers timing on that. So give us just a few minutes, and I'll be back in a few minutes. All rise.
Now, he was convicted of manslaughter. It should have been murder. Given the events, how he handled it, it should have been second-degree murder. He should be doing at least 30 years in prison. Now, I'm going to play some of the audio of the prosecutor cross-examining Aaron Dean and just listen to how arrogant and narcissistic he is.
And you can be injured or shot there.
I mean, according to you, you still don't know how many people are in this house, correct?
Correct.
You don't know how many of these people have guns, correct?
Correct.
I mean, that's what you're telling us here. You thought this burglary was still an ongoing emergency. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
But you didn't push Darsh out of the way of that fatal funnel, did you?
No.
You didn't get out of the way of that fatal funnel, did you?
Not instantly, no.
You even tried to open the window to get inside that house, didn't you?
Yes.
You tried to open the window to get inside a house where you didn't know where unknown assailants could be hiding that could be armed. Is that what you're telling this jury?
Yes.
That's your sworn test. Is that good police work?
No.
And let's go back to this. You said that it was Officer Darch's idea to go in that house, right?
No, we both intended to go inside.
Who was the first one that said, let's get inside there?
Officer Darch.
And then you tried to get into the window of the house filled with dangerous people.
Yes.
But you didn't tell Officer Darch there was a gun in that house, did you?
Not until we got inside, no.
Did you tell her when you got to the fatal funnel of the cars?
No.
Did you tell her when you got to the fatal funnel of that side door that was open where the bad guys could be?
No.
Did you tell her when you got to the fatal funnel of the front door?
No.
Did you have any trouble opening that front door?
No.
You just went right on in, didn't you?
Yes.
Hey, when you were in the back shooting at Atatiana Jefferson, do you know how many people could have run out the front door?
No.
I mean, did you have backup there?
No.
Was that front secure?
No.
All the bad people in that house could have just went right out that front door, couldn't they?
Yes.
Would you have any way of knowing if they would have went out that front door?
No.
Is that more good police work?
No.
So now you've opened the fatal funnel. Hey, what is slicing the pie? We've heard that. I want to hear you tell me what's slicing the pie.
Slicing the pie is when you're entering an opening, taking it in sections, and then dividing up the area inside.
You kind of peek a little bit and then retract to protect your body. Is that right?
No, if you retract, then you've given up the ground.
Well, you peek and then move a little bit more, move a little bit more, only exposing yourself as much as necessary until you get as much as view to determine what's safely on the other side. Is that right?
Yes.
How fast did you slice the pie at that fatal front of the front door before you went in?
You can do it quickly or slowly.
Did you do it?
Very quickly.
Oh, you did? You determined there was nothing unsafe on the other side of that front door for you to just walk right in?
I think so. It's been 3 years.
You saw the body cam. It took as long as it took. Do you really think that the body cam, if you were being graded on that slicing the pie at the front door, you'd get an A+?
Probably not.
It's more bad police work, isn't it?
It's not the best.
It's more bad police work, isn't it?
Yes.
When you got in the house, did you tell Darch there was a gun then?
When I found it, yes.
Oh, when you found it. Now I'm talking about in the living room after you opened the fatal funnel at the front door. Did you tell her there was a gun in that house?
No.
You got another fellow officer from the Fort Worth Police Department entering a home which you had determined to be a burglary in progress with possible armed assailants, and you didn't think to tell your partner, hey, there's a gun inside?
No.
You didn't think to tell her, hey, I saw somebody with a gun?
No.
Do you not like Officer Darch?
I like her just fine.
But you didn't seem too concerned for her safety. In your head is what's going on, and there's this burglary in progress, and bad guys are there with guns. You let your partner walk into that house without giving her any heads up whatsoever that the bad guy might have a gun. Is that really what you did?
We were talking on the radio and yelling commands.
Did you tell her there was a gun?
I did not.
Is that good police work?
No.
That's more bad police work, isn't it?
Yes.
So, in your head, you testified that whenever you saw Zion, the first thing you thought was, who brings a kid to a burglary? So before you get to that bedroom, you still think there's a burglary in progress, right?
Yes.
Did you clear every room in that house?
I don't think so. I think she cleared one or two that I didn't see.
Is it good for an officer to clear a room by themselves?
No.
When you have two officers, how many officers does it take to clear each room?
2 is best.
2's best. You had 2 there, didn't you?
Yes.
But y'all didn't use 2 officers to clear each room, did you?
No.
I mean, in your mind, there's still bad guys with guns. You just let Darch possibly walk into a bedroom where there could be a bad guy with a gun, right?
Yes.
And you gave her no heads up that you had seen a gun inside.
No.
Is that good police work?
No.
Was that good work for your partner? Do you think Officer Darch appreciates that now?
Probably not.
Would you ever want a fellow Fort Worth officer to let you walk into a house without telling you they had seen somebody with a gun inside?
No.
But that's what you did on October 12th, right?
Yes.
And so, y'all didn't really clear those rooms. Y'all just kind of peeked your head in each one, didn't you?
We did a fast clear.
What's a fast clear?
A quick check for threats, and then move on.
How were you taught to do a fast clear?
Now he's lying. They knew when they entered that apartment, he knew he had fucked up. There was no rooms to clear. When he walked in, Atatiana Jefferson was down, dying, and he stood over her and allowed her to die. There was no room to clear. You can hear it on the audio. I don't have it, but you can hear it on the audio that the prosecution played. When they entered the apartment, he said, "It looks like we got a gun." If you knew it was a gun and the reason why you shot her, why would you say it looks like we have a gun? He knew he fucked up. when he shot her because he didn't see a gun. He's one of those punk ass white boys who got a gun, couldn't wait to use it, and he's scared to death. So he shouldn't have been a cop, according to the psychiatrist who did his psychiatric exam to determine whether he, is cut out to be a cop. He failed. But 2 other people passed him, and those 2 other people wouldn't even come to court. As a matter of fact, not one police officer of the Fort Worth Police Department came and testified on his behalf. His partner testified against him. So it tells you a lot about him. A white boy, a cop, shoot somebody, and he have nobody to testify on his behalf and serve as a character witness besides his family members. Of course, your family member is going to be a character witness for you and say you this good person. This man's mother could have seen him pull the trigger with the sister with her hands down behind her back, and she would still say he's a good person because it's his mother, and they're nothing but a bunch of damn wicked enablers. I'm going to finish playing the audio because it gets crazier when you start questioning Aaron Dean about Atatiana.
Quickly looking into the room to see if someone's there and then moving on.
Do you do fast clears whenever you have potential perpetrators with firearms armed inside a residence?
Not usually, no.
You don't do it, do you? Not in that ultimate dangerous situation, do you?
No.
So that was more bad police work, correct?
Yes.
So you get back to that bedroom and you finally see Atatiana Jefferson. How fast did you start CPR?
I don't recall.
Did you see the video?
Yes.
You saw his play States Exhibit 1, right?
Yes.
How fast did you start CPR?
It was a while.
Did you start CPR?
No.
Okay. So again, when I ask you how fast did you start CPR, your answer should be I didn't, right?
Yes.
I mean, you saw she was bleeding, correct?
Yes.
You heard her last breaths, correct?
I heard what I now know to be her last breaths.
Because you didn't know they were her last breaths then, did you?
At first, I thought it was the dog.
So she still had a chance in your mind, didn't she?
Yes.
She still had a chance in your mind, and you didn't get down there to help her to stop the bleeding?
I did. I rolled her over and pressed an Afghan to her chest.
How fast did it take you to, you didn't roll her all the way over, you kind of just lifted her up, didn't you?
I lifted her and observed that she had a bullet wound to her chest and looked around for something to stop the bleeding, found an Afghan, and then rolled her all the way over and pressed that Afghan to her chest.
How long did that take you to finally put pressure and cover that wound?
I don't know.
A long time?
In watching the video, it appears to be a long time, yes.
Tell you what, if you're laying on the floor shot, how long would you want someone to take that long to cover your wound?
No.
Why?
Because bleeding out.
Because it's dangerous to that person, right?
Yes.
So I know you're crying right now, but October 12th, 2019, you weren't crying when you decided not to administer CPR to Atatiana Jefferson, were you?
I didn't decide not to.
But you weren't, were you?
I was about to when the other officers ran in.
Oh, you were about to start crying.
About to start CPR.
Oh, about to start CPR. But you didn't do it, did you?
No.
So you shot Atatiana Jefferson thinking she was some bad guy in a back window, is that right?
Yes.
a bad guy who had just been hunched over and who had a gun that you couldn't even see if their hands were around it?
I saw the gun pointed at me.
Is that all you could see? Is that what you're saying?
The gun in the upper part of her body.
That's all you could see. That's all your memory is said that you saw that night was the upper part of the torso of that gun.
Yes.
Do you remember seeing anything behind her?
No.
So you don't know if there was anything behind her?
No, I don't.
How smart is it to shoot a gun at a target without knowing what's behind the target?
I took a well-aimed shot with ammunition that's designed not to overpenetrate.
How smart is it to take a shot at a target without knowing what's behind the target?
It's not.
You're trained against that, aren't you?
Yes.
And like one of the 4 most basic rules about firearms is don't shoot at a target unless you know what's behind the target, isn't it?
Yes.
Like the top 4, right?
Yes.
But you disregarded that, didn't you?
Yes.
This guy did absolutely nothing right. Nothing right when it came to answering that dispatched call. Nothing right. Disregarded every regulation, disregarded every protocol, every rule in policing. A simple open structure call, and he murdered someone. It's not manslaughter. It's not justice for those people. It's murder. He was subsequently convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 11 years, 10 months, and 9 days. They wanted to make sure he did time because they had given him 10 years. I'm quite certain that his attorneys would have pushed for him to get probation, and knowing Texas, he probably would have gotten it. And what's crazy about that is if she had lived, if Atatiana Jefferson had lived, he would have gotten more time if she had lived. That's the crazy part. Because an assault with a deadly weapon, and she would have been able to testify, he would have gotten more time for assault with a deadly weapon than manslaughter. That's the crazy part about the whole situation. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.
Enemy Public, I saw your thing on YouTube, man. Keep doing your thing, bro.